Hi, Carol.
Hi there. How you doing?
Larry, thanks for coming. Hi. Howdy, Skip, Ren. How you doing? Are you okay? About July 4th.
50 years ago, we didn't think about being history.
The Southern Arizona region of the Porsche Club of America was chartered on June 23rd of 1967 in Tucson, Arizona. 50 years later, on July 6, 2017, several original members got together to talk about the early days of the club in Tucson. Here's what they had to say.
I think we actually called it U of A Club. It had more class being a U of A sports car club. Even though as I remember, it was still all Porsches. I mean, it was 356s for the start. The problem was we wanted to be the Porsche club, but the Arizona region said, well, why didn't we just come up to Phoenix to their meetings, to the Arizona region? And PCA thought that was reasonable. They didn't realize what it meant. You had to go, it wasn't just the trip on the highway, you had to go through the speed traps of Eloy to get to Phoenix. Everybody remembers that. So then it was like, okay, how about we'll join, but you come to Tucson every other meeting. Oh, you can't imagine Phoenix people wanting to come to Tucson.
The club needed 15 members to get chartered by PCA, and they used some creative methods to attract them.
When I came to Tucson, I was stationed at DM. And then somebody kept putting stuff on my car, you know, because there wasn't a lot of
Fairland. That's an edge. Yeah.
Fairland.
We'd sit out on Speedway at that corner, at that stoplight, and when we'd see a Porsche stop, we all go yelling at the guy. Somebody get in their car and follow him down the street. Trying to get new members in the club.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you got me.
That's how we met you guys.
Beer on the front porch.
That's what we
Oh,
do.
yeah, a keg of beer on the front porch.
Yeah.
In fact, somebody, it was probably, somebody had an air horn. I had an air horn.
Just an aerosol airplane.
Big air horn.
That must have been you.
And the Porsche would drive by and push the button and the air horn would go off. Oh, okay, I'll come over.
The 9/11 guys, you know, the 9/11 guys by that time.
We went by the house and you guys started yelling at us, so we went around the block and pulled
I'll
in.
be darned.
And you said when your meeting was, and then the next month we went to the first, we went to the Porsche Club out at the German place.
Gundelsburgers. Gundelsburgers.
Goes, yeah.
Probably predated even Southern Arizona region. I think it was just Porsche people. It was like, if you had a Porsche, gee, maybe you should go to dinner where there's German food.
I don't even think they went to dinner, didn't they? Just sit around a table and drink and.
Yeah, right.
And there were, I think I only went once or twice. They were never hanging around. It's all you guys talking about car stuff and wanting to drive faster. And who was going to have what event when?
You know, I married in '63. I think I was a pretty bad chauvinist to start out with. I mean, this was a car club. What did it have to do? My wife wanted a social event, then go find a social event. This is a car club. This means events that you drive your car in or to or something. So it, like I said, it wasn't until maybe we got to the progressive dinners and things that finally she got my attention and said, okay, this is part of the Porsche group thing.
And Al Yost, I'll never forget, Al Yost was the one that named the Zuffenhausen News. At the Gundelsburgers Brauhaus one night, he goes, we should say the Zuffenhausen News. He liked that and it stuck. Nobody knew where now Zuffenhausen was.
There's no year on some of these. We weren't very good about that.
Well, I brought the one ZN that has the blank circle because we hadn't come up with a logo yet.
Right,
And
yeah.
so we just published the ZN with a circle.
Yeah.
Right.
To remind people that we needed to put something in there.
And then Patty did the logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed like once Patty and Rink got here, we did a lot more social stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
That's true.
the Halloween party, which was always a super party and funny things would happen. at that party, at his house. At Rink's house. Rink and Patty did Halloween party, I don't know how many years.
I don't remember.
And then there were,
But you had to have a costume to go.
yeah, you had to have a costume.
You were a good tooth fairy.
Yeah.
Most trouble we'd get into were the progressive dinners, where
Yeah.
you would go
yeah.
to several different houses.
Have drinks and then go to the next one and drink some more and
So speaking of drinking too much, so earlier on, you guys mentioned the Halloween parties, but you really didn't share any of the details. So what happened?
So whenever we were having a party, the bathtub was always full of ice and full of white wine or sometimes even red wine. And they were all these big gallon jugs of wine. 'Cause we
That was
drank a lot
before
of wine.
boxes, they didn't have boxes.
They didn't have boxes back then, right before boxes, yeah.
And then one year Kurt and I went as the little old man and the little old woman from Laughing. I think Kurt as a great pumpkin was the best one though.
So did we do much of anything? No. We probably had a costume contest, maybe, to see who was wearing
Yeah.
what and how creative they had been.
So what was the most embarrassing costume that somebody wore to one of these events?
Most embarrassing what?
Costume somebody wore. Oh, boy, I don't remember much. Let's see.
We wouldn't tell you anyway.
yeah, the one I wore.
So Kurt, do you remember Jack Workler's garage down on Pima?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw Tracy Spider in there once.
And I've got a picture of that garage with about 5 speedsters out front and a couple of 356 coupes.
Yeah.
So he must have been one of the guys that
Yeah, he was in
before
Southern Arizona Club.
Al Jopes sort of took over. That little repair shop there at Park and 22nd,
Yeah.
that little
Yeah.
Richfield gas station.
Well, I remember we used to go down there and hang out.
Yeah,
I mean, you didn't go there to get your car repaired, you went down there to have fun with your friends.
right. He knew the cars.
See, it was a small club, I don't know, maybe 50 members, but you only got 20 at the most to show up for an event, and most social things were all in somebody's home.
Yeah.
I like the succulent pig myself.
Yeah, Ken Shad barbecued the pig, but they had to get it to him.
We had somebody roast them for us, and Audrey had the station wagon. So
We had kids.
Patty and Audrey went to pick the pig, two, I think.
There were 2 pigs.
2 pigs.
And they loaded them
And
into.
they loaded them in, but they loaded them in the face first. And Audrey said, I can't drive. I keep looking in the mirror and seeing dead pigs.
I basically had these smiling pigs,
Did you?
you know? So I said, before we even left, I said, she says, okay, so she went back in and we got some of that butcher paper and she covered their heads.
Really?
Because every time I look in their rearview mirror, there they were.
Oh, that's great, Audrey.
Probably the average age in the club was 30, we're now at 60. And everybody back then had a used car. I mean, it might as well have been the used Porsche Club, sports car club. It just, well, I bought my 59 in 69 and paid $1,500 for a convertible D.
Right.
And now, you know, it was just a contemporary used car. It wasn't anything special. And you'd drive it down the dirt road or whatever. Now these guys are 356s, just, they don't even take them out of the garage unless there's a contour. So what a difference. It's just total change.
Yeah.
Well, we even let our older son drive it to his prom.
Sure. Just a car.
I was gonna say, the first events, and sometime when I started seeing 9/11s, I went, are those really gonna last? They don't look like the 356 does, you know. So it took me a while to get used to a 9/11. Turned out, they were all right.
Well, it seems to me that after we had done autocrossing for several years, the idea of getting on a real racetrack was something that we all sort of dreamed about. And eventually we started doing that and calling them driver education events, DE events.
Yeah.
And then we had a few races, and didn't you give technical talks?
Some tape.
Who ran the tech talks?
Jeff?
probably, yeah.
Yeah, he ran the TikTok.
Probably Rink. Rink was the,
Probably Jeff.
we remember that one real good.
A glove box Concord.
That's
Do you
right.
remember that?
Yeah.
Yes, that was one of your ideas.
What is a glove box Concord?
Well, they're gonna check out your glove box, and you're not gonna know it ahead of time. And the cleanest, best glove box is gonna get some prize. It'll embarrass you anyway.
The fun thing was finding all the guys that had tickets that were stuffed in their glove box. Parking tickets, speeding tickets. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Changes in car technology led to changes in the club.
But you didn't have to change your oil as often with the 6-cylinder. So the advent of the 911 was probably a big turning point
Yeah.
for the mechanical part of PCA.
I think there was a step up in performance and a step up in reliability that went right along with it for
Right.
whatever reason.
How did that change the club?
I think it became more social, don't you? Social, and the cars were faster with racing them and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and they became totally reliable. And, you know, we didn't break the engines like we did in the earlier days.
Really early days, how many times people got towed home.
Right, right.
And I think it was towed. I don't even remember many people who even had a trailer. We got towed.
We basically turned everything into a social event. And I think maybe that was part of the success of the club.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Yeah.
the logo or the phrase from the National Club now, it's not the cars, it's the people, it certainly applies to this region.
Yeah.
I mean, we remember the cars, and some of them we might still lust after, but it's the people that matter.
Right. I remember when we were doing a lot of time trial stuff and autocrosses and stuff, it was a pretty tight-knit
Yeah.
group.
Yes.
And I remember as the Concord thing started to take off, we used to call the other guys the dusters.
Yeah, car dusters.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And we were the racers
Yep,
and they were the dusters.
yep, car dusters.
Well, there was that, I'd rather wreck it than wax it, too.
That's true.
We were very involved with SCCA and the Porsche Club. And at one point, we even were in the Corvette Club at the same time, so that was just the friendliness of everyone was, well, come on out, you know, we don't care if you don't have a Corvette or if you don't have a Porsche, you got a sports car or something, you don't have anything, come on anyway.
In the years before the club's formation, the car culture memorialized by George Lucas and American Graffiti was just as active on the streets of Tucson as everywhere else across the country. Evenings were spent cruising on Speedway and the circuit between Johnny's and Richie's drive-ins. The straight section of Mount Lemmon Highway, known as the Cutoff, had 2 cattle guards that conveniently marked start and finish lines for drag racing.
The cutoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the cutoff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you better explain it to these people who don't know where the cutoff is.
Out here, I was hoping you'd explain it.
Well, Kurt probably
Well, it's
can.
about Lemon Highway down there where there were 2 cattle guards and there were 5/8 of a mile apart, I think. Is that right? 3/8?
Very
5/8?
close, yeah.
Perfect start and finish lines.
Yeah, for every Friday night, anybody who wanted was
Each
at
hit the
it.
cutoff.
Yeah.
It was fun growing up in this town because it was small, and I guess it was a cow town, so to speak. We had an easy life as teenagers. The guys, all they worried about is who could they beat at the cutoff, and the gals wanted to know if they had a date for Saturday night. And that was growing up as a teenager.
We had a whole bunch of foreign cars. I mean, there was Jaguars, there was Austin-Ely's,
Yeah.
Triumphs, MGs, everything.
Yeah.
We'd go out and run through Swerve National Monument East. It was unlocked, there wasn't any gate on it or anything. We knew there were cattle in there, but I guess it never occurred to us that when we came over that hill, there could be a big fat cow right in the middle of it. And why there was never one there, I have no idea.
We were growing out of doing slaloms. We go, oh man, we can go faster. Because we had seen
Yeah.
PIR and I've been reading in the Windblown Witness about Oakville and stuff. So somebody says, well, I think there's a old airstrip behind Picacho Peak. We can go. And so somebody went up there and checked it out. Said, man, we can go fast up here.
Yeah.
Kurt did.
No roll bars, but we can go fast. We weren't so much worried about our safety.
And this one we found was a perfect, the go-kart clubs had used it for go-karts. And I remember the first one we put on was called the 10 Laps of Picacho, because it wasn't very big, so you went around about 10 times for an autocross.
I went out there with my oldest son and we were sealing the cracks in this thing. We'd gotten asphalt. And the damn border patrol came at us in all directions, lights flashing. They were so pissed because we'd blown some drug drop up there. The plane had come over and circled and looked around and flew away. Never came down.
We checked it out one weekend when we were just finding this place, and Kurt was trying to teach him how to drive around this little circular thing, and he said, he was trying to tell him how to use the gas pedal and everything else. He says, and it's not necessary to somehow use the brake. And he came around the first time, and the next time he was going faster and faster, and finally he just spun out. And I went, what's wrong? He says, Dad said don't use the brakes. So I didn't.
Yeah, but you gotta get off that other pedal.
That's right. But the point was we were looking for neater things to keep. We started upping our
Right.
game
Right.
with a bigger facility and going faster. So that's when we brought on instructors. We brought on Jay Chamberlain.
Yeah.
And Ron Leonard, and a few guys like that to show us how to drive fast. We outlived
From
the
Colorado.
Picacho deal because that kind of started to deteriorate as we used it.
Well,
And then we can't run here. We ran it on that go-kart track like you're talking about. And then we went to PIR from there, like a year later or whatever it was, a year and a half later, we went to Phoenix International Raceway. This is another good story. A bunch of us decided we're gonna go clean the track.
With the sweeper?
The sweeper.
I remember that.
Do you? So,
Harry Newman was involved in that, wasn't he?
I don't know. So we decided the thing's dirty, we gotta get it cleaned up. So we rented this damn pull-along sweeper. It had a motor on it, it had an engine on the thing to rotate the big sweep brush. You pull it behind the truck. I don't know if you've ever heard this story. So we're going up the freeway and going along in my pickup truck and this thing's behind us. So three of us are in the cab. I forget what three guys. Sam, probably Sam and somebody else. So we're going down, so we make the turn and we're going out the farm road towards Picacho there. And I feel this tug on my truck, and I looked in the mirror, and here's this goddamn sweeper doing endos.
I remember that.
You go, holy shit. Fortunately, nobody was coming, nobody got hurt, but it went off into the ditch, and we go, no, still got a dirty track. Oh my God.
So did we repair it and then sweep the track?
No, I think we called the guy up and told him where it was, you know? Oh my God.
I remember hearing that story.
Died. Horrible thing.
My first introduction to the Porsche Club
Oh my God.
in Sacramento, California, with
Millions of years, yeah. And the
maybe
vegetation is
99.9% men in the room,
It's not dinosaurs.
all dressed in suits,
Oh wow.
all stiff,
Really?
full silverware complement, 2 knives and 3 forks and all that stuff, and I didn't know which ones to use. And then I took a job at the university, came down here, and I don't remember who I bumped into first. It might have been you, or it might have been Skip, but it was somebody from back in the early days. And the best thing that I remembered about it is that everybody was casual, and
Used to be.
the Sacramento Valley region was pretty stuffy, and they were not real happy with having new people come in. It was a sort of a closed group.
Oh my God.
And so coming here was just a complete flop.
Complete opposite.
And, yeah.
You fell in love with it.
Absolutely.
You guys did.
Yeah.
You guys were the big drivers in this club for many years.
Well, there were a bunch of us who
Yeah.
were kind of crazy in those days.
Yeah.
You're going to go through your audio and find out that the most used words here was, I can't remember.
The reason we can't remember is either we're too old or we were drinking too much back then.
Both.
One or the other.
I think, yeah, both.